Alright guys, so I was going to do this video a week or two ago. I bought a tub and everything to do this on how to house neonate green tree pythons, how I do it. Cheap, really effective way that's been working for me really well. I got a tub last week, and of course when I was drilling it I cracked it, so I just made it back to Lowe's recently. Went there last week and of course they were out of these tubs. So this is just going to be a sort of a quick run through on how I set up green trees from the time they're babies until they need to be bumped up. It's pretty simple. The things you'll need will be some of these mounting pads. All of this stuff you can get at Lowe's or the dollar store. These at Lowe's, you can get a 10 pack of these for I think $4. You'll need a hanger, which we all pretty much have lying around. There's two kinds. There's the thinner kind as far as diameter goes, and then there's the thicker kind. For like small babies, you want to use the thinner ones. And I'll show you why that bottom part is missing for a reason. So that can go in the trash for now. Hefty 6.5 quart tubs. You can get these at Lowe's as well. I think after tax and everything, they're $3.16 here in South Carolina, so they're less than $4. And then I use these for water bowls. You want something kind of oversized for this size tub. I like having a bigger water bowl. It helps with humidity. And then you'll need, I recommend the Ultratherm pads from Reptile Basics. This is like a 6x11 inch. You can get these shipped and all for I think like $25. I'll get to these in a minute. So basically you'll get your tub, and then what I do for ventilation, because with babies humidity is much more important for getting proper sheds, and you have less headaches when you keep them hydrated. So on these tubs, I take them, I drill one hole in each corner, as you can see, and then on the sides I drill 1, 2. On the other sides I drill 1, 2, and that is it. I have yet to have any issues with this not being enough ventilation. Babies you keep on the humid side for the most part anyways, so this will help. So once those are drilled, I take 2 of these pads, and there's 2 ways you can do this. I'm running it lengthwise this time, which I did not do with my other tub, which I'll show you in a minute. This creates a nice gradient for them to, if this is the hot side or this is the cool side, they can choose which side they want to go on. And the only thing I did for these pads, and I doubt you'll be able to see it, let me take one of these out. Come on, bag. Been prepared. And you don't have to do this. I just think it's easier with pretty much any perches and chondros of any size. Just to get the bag open before you do this. Try not to have to set the phone down. There we go. So on one of these, I cut out, I basically have these sitting like a diamond, not square. I cut this section right here where my thumb is, and this section across from it, so it creates a U to hold the perch. And then I trimmed off this little top section, so that just makes it easier to pull the perch out. There is a little give in it, but it's enough to keep that perch in there. Like I said, you don't have to do that. I do that just because it makes it easier. I'm not having to like flex this while the baby's on it to get him out. That's personal preference. So that one is set up, as you can see, like a diamond. The other one is square. That one's really not going to matter because that one you're just putting it in as is. You're not going to cut it. So then, after that's done, you set up your water bowl. You put it on, preferably I put it on the cooler end. And then, you put your baby in there and you get them set up, and you'll put them on the Ultratherm, which these are nice because these are a semi-lower wattage. They don't get crazy hot like the Zoomeds do. These usually top out at around 90 as is. So your hot spot, once they're perched and stuff, is going to be pretty on point with where you want it. Babies you can keep a little warmer than you would adults without any issues. And I will show you how I have my current neonate who just ate. And this, I'm doing it long ways like this on purpose because this style I did, after doing it, I really didn't care for it. So he has a hot end perch, cool end perch. He goes between the two pretty regularly. Let me get out of the light. As you can see, oversized water bowl. When I missed, I really won't have to hit it up again for at least another day or so. It holds humidity really well. Like I said, the minimal holes in the tub really help. And also with babies being kind of snappy as is, especially Beox like this guy who just ate, getting that perch out without them whacking you can be tough. So the long way is a little better. It gives them a better gradient. I'm going to try that out. I have a feeling it's going to work out better than this. But like I said, for little guys, and when I got this guy, he was a worm. He was small. He's actually growing pretty good. I think it's going to work out better than this method. And so then with the heat pad, I just have the heat pad right here, hot end. I'm not putting it all the way halfway. I put it about, I have the tub meet the middle line there, and I don't have any issues. Like I said, these heat pads, they get warm, they don't get hot, which is nice. Those Zoom Eds get very, very hot. If you temp gun them, you're going to get probably triple digits. These guys right now, this is at 100. The Zoom Eds usually get like 115, like direct on the pad. So if you can even feel a difference, like these don't get crazy hot. So his hot spot when I temp gun him is usually at about 86 or 87, which is perfect. So this is kind of how I do it. Like I said, it'd be a quick rundown. I said I was going to do this last week, and like I said, I never got around to it. So I got another chondro coming from Luke Myers. If any of you listen to the podcast, you heard us talk about that last week. But this is just super simple chondro caging for babies. When they get older, I highly recommend PVC cages with radiant heat panels. These hold temperature and humidity like crazy. You're not going to have any issues with these. They are more expensive, but they are well worth the money. You can do the exoterras, you can do the fancy setups, but honestly, I keep it simple. And I'll go ahead and mention this. So this is for like a juvenile. Very similar setup. Also a Reptile Basics pad. Really deep water bowl, nice and big. The only difference in these perches is I have them attached via wing nut, and so I took some PVC caps and cut them. This was probably more complicated than I needed it to be. I'm sure I could have found some for cheaper, ones that I didn't have to do myself, because that did take probably more time than I wanted it to. But I don't have to worry about these coming off. I haven't had any issues with the glue pads on these coming off. Those things aren't going anywhere. So once they're a bigger size, like this is probably a 1.5 year old Beox, very similar setup. This size tub, I forget how big it is. We also just ate. So this size tub works until they're, getting to be the subadult size. And then once they get to adult size, they get moved into a PVC cage. This girl's in animal plastics. This thing's like 4 feet long. I can keep her and the male in this pretty much year round if I wanted to. There's plenty of space for them. This actually came from Jacob, who I do the podcast with. He was getting rid of it, so I bought it, and it works out perfectly because this girl's actually pretty big, and she's pretty mellow for the most part. She's unlike the male. The male's horrible. So, but that's a quick rundown. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Palmetto Coast Exotics. Check out the podcast. It's the Herpetoculture Podcast on SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go back to feeding now, so be sure to subscribe. Thank you.